Hey everybody, Sean here, and I hope you're doing well. This should come as no surprise, being that it comes from Hollywood and Marvel Comics. They've been influencing the youth for decades. But for some reason, this movie really hit home with me as to how blatant the wicked influence really is. Obviously, the target audience is kids, because it's children that buy comic books and like cutesy characters like Groot. Here's a promo with them totally wasted after a night in the bar. Yeah, we'll get to that. Now, yes, this is a make-believe movie, but the fact is that it's using superheroes that kids idolize, and what their heroes do impacts the wee ones much more than we'd like to think. It starts off with how this blue guy ruined Christmas forever. First scene with actual people is Buddy laughing and saying how much he liked that the guy kicked over the Christmas tree. They agree that there's a lot of work to be done on this place, and Buddy follows up by saying he hates stories where everybody lives. Then it's a scene of a raccoon guy yelling at a dog and calling him a stupid mutt because he can't aim. It's just totally negative in the first 3.5 minutes. Then they go into a catchy little song talking about Santa having superpowers and all the terrible things he'll do to you if you're not good. They reference Mrs. Claus as a stripper and have the elves causing an uprising and stab out Santa's eyes. Then she tells a story of how her father killed his mother and tried to kill her brother Peter. She feels bad for him and decides to make a great Christmas for Peter by kidnapping Kevin Bacon as a present. So they head to the Earth and start their mission. When she asks him if he'd put on the cloaking device, he lies and says yes, but then turns it on right then to cover it up. And it's these little subtle things that influence the youth. So they end up in Hollywood taking pictures with people. One girl gets excited and says, "I got a picture with the God of War." And then there's a scene with baby Jesus, and the next shot is them with nothing but unhappiness on their faces when looking at the true God of this world. And then the God of War beats up one of the characters, because that's funny. So with all the money they made, they head to a local club where they do one shot after another. And remember, who's idolizing these stars that are violent, lying, insulting people, beating people up, and getting drunk? They're the ones being affected by all this. And after the bar, they're totally wasted and sitting in the streets. That leads to her casting a spell on a woman and stealing all her money. They finally get to Kevin Bacon's place, and while in his yard, Buddy steals an elf, and she says, "You can't just take stuff." But then she sees something she likes and says, "But I guess that's what it's here for." When you look at all of this in the context of influencing a child, it's absolutely wicked. So they break into his place by smashing through his window, and he calls 911. When they arrive, they beat up the police, and Big Dude flips over a car. She says to him that he can't just kill people, but he says, "Well, how am I supposed to know the rules if no one tells me?" And they finally kidnap Kevin. And all of this is only halfway through the movie. Now, some will say it's just a movie, but I really feel God was opening my eyes to just how sneaky the enemy really is with this stuff, and thought I'd share this with you. It really is important to protect the youth because in these days, evil is being wrapped up in colorful and entertaining packages. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, so please leave your comments below, and until next time, take care and God bless.